I thought this might be a good chance for us to, since you still can still buy games from the PS3 and PS Vita store, I thought we could kind of just go over, what were some of the games that you played from that era? And this might not just be PlayStation 3 or PlayStation Vita, but this could also include Xbox Live Arcade games. Like, what are some of your favorites that you remember from this era?
Well, there are two that immediately come to mind. The first one is really, if I'd had a functioning PC, I would have gotten it there. But Minecraft was easily the best purchase I ever made on 360. And that includes like any game I bought on disc, except for Mass Effect 2. That's the only thing I will not put above Minecraft. But Minecraft legitimately is the best thing that happened to me in that era, because so much of what I did in those days was competitive. I played a lot. Like, I'm Canadian, so by law I have to like hockey. I used to play NHL like super hardcore back in the day. And I got very animated. I was the guy that would throw his controller, but wisely threw it on the couch like a smart person, not on the floor or the wall like some people do. Which I'm like,
using that big brain.
That's $70, guys. Why would you do that? But I got Minecraft on a whim, just because I think I first saw it played on like a Let's Play. I don't know if you might have heard of them. I know a lot of people in the gaming community have. Achievement Hunter or the Rooster Teeth guys.
Yep.
So like I first saw Minecraft through them, and I thought, oh, that looks kind of neat. And a bunch of my friends that I also played hockey with happened to also play Minecraft as like a side fun thing. So we did that, and it was so chill. Just to be able to go in. Sure, there's still like things like creepers and zombies to worry about, but realistically, it's a hell of a lot better than you playing 30 minutes of intense freaking gameplay yelling at your TV screen, whereas all you're doing is just shooting the shit. It was like my social tool back then.
Yeah.
Because you can play Minecraft, especially if you're on PC. There's a lot of modding that can make it a much more intense game, but base Minecraft is really not a crazy like focusing game. It's more something that you just play in the background and you shoot the shit with people.
Yeah.
And it was amazing for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I got sucked into Minecraft so much, and honestly, I think it's a great game. Like, if you have a system, it's just a great game to just throw on and chill and just do your own thing. And it's so versatile that if you have someone who's not even into games, it's so easy to get into, and like it's not hard to manage, and anyone can play it. Like, it was the first game that my nephew played, and he was probably maybe 4 at the time, and he was just digging holes, and I just put him in creative mode, and he just dug holes. He found the lava, and he was just burning everything into lava and blowing stuff up with TNT, because I showed him how to do that. And like, he just had a blast with it, and that was his first game that he played. And even like it's so easy to play that I think anyone can kind of pick it up and go with it. It's Lego for video games, and I think that's perfect.
I mean, how can you not be upset when you're making your dumb fuck dirt house? How can you not enjoy it?
Exactly. No, I love it. It's a great game to play with others too. Like I said, my nephew was playing it, and I play it right beside him, and he's out burning stuff with lava, and I'm building Star Destroyers in space. It's great. So yeah, one game, I think probably when I think of like the PlayStation 3 store and the PS Vita store, I think probably my favorite game from there is Rogue Legacy. Did you ever play this one?
I tried it. It wasn't really my thing, because I'm not too big on those kind of games, because I don't like dying over and over.
Yeah, you see, I'm not a big I'm not a legacy. Excuse me. I'm not a big rogue game kind of player where it's like die and start over kind of thing. But Rogue Legacy just hit like the mechanic where, hey, you died, and now your heir goes and takes over, and like there's a whole bunch of genetic sort of predispositions that affect how you play. So you could be like very tiny, and like then your character is like actually smaller than what your normal character sprite is, or you have giganticism and you're like really massive, or one was like you are colorblind, so everything is like black and white, and like it's so cool to go through. And I just remember taking the subway back and forth to U of T and just playing Rogue Legacy on my Vita on the subway every day, and it was just so much fun. And I think that mechanic of dying and going back and doing it again like just was awesome and really well done.
Absolutely. And then from going chill, we go to the opposite direction, where it's super intense and super depressing. The Telltale Walking Dead series, specifically the first season.
Oh yeah.
That one did a number on me, and I don't even care much for The Walking Dead at all. Like, I never got into the TV series. I tried watching it. I watched like 2, 3 episodes. Just couldn't. I found nothing into it. So I was like, what do I care about a video game for? And then I saw how highly rated it was. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. We'll take a look. I got the first episode. It might have been even free. That might have been how I got into it, and I couldn't believe how well written that thing was. And I went,
Yeah.
holy hell, I need to play this whole thing. And then I ended up playing season 2. And then unfortunately, I haven't gone any further than that because I think Telltale kind of just started running out for me. Because I tried like Tales of the Borderlands or A Wolf Among Us, and just every single time I play them and I go, okay, I've kind of done this stuff before. Like, I don't know. This maybe it was just kind of like a burnout on that kind of style.
Yeah, I am the same way. Like, I think Wolf, or not Wolf Among Us, but The Walking Dead was a PS Plus game at one point because I got it too, and it doesn't seem like the kind of game that I would have bought myself. And so I got it, and I agree with you. It was a fantastic game just to like pick it up and play it, and it just, for me on the Vita, it just works so well to just kind of pick it up and go along. That was another one that I would just remembered playing, going back and forth to school.
And it's such a great game too because it really gets you to like sit down and go, okay, you can't just assume you're going to be the hero every single time you play a video game.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, you basically lose when you play these games, which is why it was so much more fun playing the second season when I'm like, all right, I'm not going to give a shit about anybody. It's like, oh, I need to save this person. One time I think it was like a kid in the second season where it's just like, help that person. And I went, nah, kicked her off the edge. I'm just like, I know you're going to die anyway.
Yeah.
You're going to die at some point. I'm just prolonging when it happens.
I'm not making the mistake of getting attached to anything right now.
I basically just went, you know what? I'm going to just do everything to make sure I live.
Yeah.
And who would have known I managed to do everything I wanted in that game?
Yeah. I hated Kenny. Kenny was a jerk.
Yeah, I was pretty happy. I can't even think of what the girl's name that you have to save between her and Kenny.
No, so it's Clementine. Like, Clementine's the one you obviously save. And then he's got his son, Ducky, I think.
Oh, sorry, I was talking season 2 at that point.
Okay, yeah. Who's the hell is the girl?
Because she's like this like blonde tomboyish looking girl.
Yeah, I remember. I found that I like. What did you think of season 2 versus season 1?
It was here. I think the other reason why I got burned out of them is because like I know that no matter what I do, it's pretty much going to end up in the same point anyway. It's just slightly different dialogue.
Yeah.
And with season 2, it was like I said, like I went in just not giving a shit anymore about people, so I just kind of went in it for myself. And sure, it made the game funnier in a way, but that's kind of not what the purpose of those games were.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So like I think the Telltale games, especially The Walking Dead, I think it meant more because of the first time playing it, and then after that it kind of just became all right, well, I know what I'm expecting this time, so I guess it's going to be more of the same, and you kind of like already, you're not really blown away by anything as much. And the writing did start to dip a little bit, I think, because you know, it's like how some people they have that magic sauce, but sometimes they only have so much of it and then it runs out.
Now, do you think that like what was the like Telltale was hindered by the fact that they did sequels? Like, I'm wondering if they had done like, hey, here's a story, it's standalone, and you could have drastically different endings. Like, the problem with The Walking Dead is everyone got to the same spot, and it had to be so that they could make a sequel. And maybe what would have been better is if Telltale was just like, nope, this is one game, one series, and then we're going to move on to even a different story, and kind of, you know, you could have new characters in the sequel and it'll be a different story.
Yeah, but I mean, we also do live in an industry where you're supposed to leave a door open, because if it succeeds, you want to make 5 more of them so that you can get as much money as you can out of it.
That's true. Yeah, that's a fair point. One game that like going from really anxiety or stressful and hardcore to more chill is the Hitman Go series. Did you ever play the Go series? So
no,
Hitman
I've never tried any of them actually.
Yeah, so I never played the Tomb Raider one or the Deus Ex one, I believe that they had, but I did play Hitman Go, and Hitman Go was awesome. It's a cool little puzzle game, sort of like you're moving these little pieces on a board, and it has the feel of like Hitman. So like guards are watching you. You can take guards out, like if you go from behind or the side, like you can't basically attack them head on. And so these pieces and mechanisms are moving through the game, and you have to move your pieces in a way that kind of makes sense. And you're challenged by, do it within a certain amount of turns, don't get spotted, don't use outfits. So it weirdly captures the experience of Hitman. And I know how much you love the Hitman series, but honestly, it's a really fun kind of puzzle game. And I think it's like takes a couple hours to beat, but it's really good for what it is.
Yeah. The last one that I can think of off the top of my head, I mean, I could do a lot of research and really pull out a bunch of them, but the last one that really stands out for me, at least from that era, would have been, and it actually just got re-released, I think last month or maybe just a little bit before that, was Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the video game.
Okay, yeah, I never played this one.
Have you seen the movie at least?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, the movie's fantastic for anybody who's never seen it. And then they made a video game that's basically like, Turtles in Time, like side scroller beat 'em up, kind of like, back in the good old days. And it's designed much like the visual, or not the visual, the graphic novels that were also a thing. And it really feels like, playing an old school SNES, like beat 'em up side scroller with, just a modern flair to it, with like an anime flair to it almost, with the way that the graphic novel is kind of designed. And it's punishingly hard. Like you actually, it's almost like JRPG-ish in nature, because you do have to level up to get even better. So you won't. It's not like a game over and then that's it. No, you still keep like gradually leveling up as you play through the game. So you do get better and better and better as you go. And the soundtrack is fantastic in that game. That's the big standout thing. Anamanaguchi were the guys that did it, and it's one of my favorite gaming soundtracks that doesn't use like licensed music. It's just absolutely incredible for that, because it's pure like 8-bit like just like modern 8-bit music, and it always sounded great. There's some certain songs that are obviously better than others, but like I think it's like the first level is just a fantastic song, and I can never stop listening to that. And like I said, the gameplay, it's everything that you used to like out of all those old games, like your oh my god, why am I blanking? Turtles in Time, Maximum Carnage, games of that ilk.
Yeah, like Battletoads and that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. One, like, I'm gonna give a special mention. I was gonna say this for the end, but like I haven't played the full game, but I remember playing it like with some buddies and stuff. Is Castle Crashers. That's another one from like the Xbox Live Arcade era. And that game is just, I love the art style of it, like the knights with like their different colors and powers. It's super cool. I think that's a really good one. The other one I want to give like a special shout out that I never played, but always appealed to me. I had it on the tip of my tongue. I just lost it. It was Castle Crashers, and there was another one.
Think.
I'll go back to it. So the other one that I played that I know that I did like was the Counter Spy. Have you ever seen this one?
That one I have, yeah. I've played that one too.
Yeah, what'd you think of that one?
That one was really fun. I put a lot of just random like hours into that, just because it's chill and stressful at the same time. Because like you can, if you're really good at it, you can just kind of mess around with it and have a good time.
Yeah, like, and it was neat how they did that. Like it was a 2D spy game with shooting mechanics. And I thought that was like really neat how they did it. The aesthetic, like that 1950s, 60s kind of Cold War aesthetic cartoon was really, really cool. And I feel like that's one that kind of came and went, and it didn't get as much fanfare as I think it should have.
Well, it's like like we said in our argument when we were talking about backwards compatibility, whether it was feasible. It's like there's so many games in the present day that everything gets swallowed by everything else. So
yeah,
it's so easy for like really good games to get lost.
Yeah, for sure. But Counter Spy was a really good one. One that I know we're probably going to get some flack for not mentioning is Limbo. Did you ever play Limbo?
No, Limbo and Inside are both games that like I looked at and said, that's not my thing. Like I knew right away it wasn't my thing. And it's not because the creepy giant spider leg. No, that's not it. It's just when I see a lot of games that I see people really glot about, and the more I look at it, the more that I just think it's an art style. I immediately go, I know this isn't for me, because it's going to be like this artsy game with a message to it, or it's going to be like a little bit like unique. And more often than not, it generally doesn't jive with me. And I know it's like kind of like anti-hipster to say that, but I've always found what works for me is usually dumb shit. I'll just openly say it. I like the dumb stuff. Yeah,
I played Limbo, and it was good. I think I came late to it, so I kind of I came after the hype, so everyone had kind of like built it up, and it was fine. Like the aesthetic was kind of neat. Like I kind of got it a little bit, but it didn't wow me at all. But it was cool. It was a great game that was on the stores like digitally. So yeah,
I was too busy just playing Trials Evolution and just constantly like doing backflips and then landing face first into a giant fucking rock, you know?
yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of like great games from like that PS Vita, PS3 sort of era, Xbox Live. And so, yeah, I'm glad that they're keeping the store so that those are available. If you haven't picked those up yet, I would highly recommend it, especially if you have a Vita. Like, I don't know how well things kind of hold out on PS3 now, but the Vita still holds up. So if you have a Vita, I would check out those games. I think they're definitely worthwhile and worth checking out.